You can say yes, but if you want around picking everybody's brain, go somewhere. But just know, y'all can no longer pick my brain for free, especially if you can got information, you making money off of it, and I ain't so much as got a thank you.
Well, darling, there's only one God. Darling, there's only...
Welcome to the Dirty Bag Podcast. I'm your host, Cookie, and as always, thank you for joining me. You could be anywhere, listening to anybody, but you're here with your girl, but you're here, but you're here. I can't talk today, y'all, because I'm wearing a retainer that can't fit no more. So don't judge me. If you do, I can fight. So I got to kick this off. I'm a little late, but we did have the second annual podcast summit. Y'all know it gave me absolute life last year. It is always my goal to remain in student mode. I always want to go around folks that know things that I don't. So I did it again. I got to open this up with a quote because it hit me in the gut. I was mad about it because it was so true. Stepped all on my toes. You're just a community person where people go to for free. Then go pay somebody else across the street to do what they asked you to do for free. That quote came from David Shands. Now, here's why it just pissed me off. I damn near stood up and turned and faced the person that it reminded me of. I have always been the person whose people love to call me and pick my brain. I'm absolutely the let me pick your brain girl. Why? Because I'm a visionary. I'm a very creative girl, especially when it comes to other people, okay? So I can tell you, I can look at what you got going on, boom, 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 give you an idea. If you execute, it's going to be gold. I am great at it. But what we've learned is folks do not value free information, or they'll value it. You just won't get no credit for it. They'll turn around and thank somebody else for something that you birthed for them. I got to look into the camera. Those that have ears to hear, if you feel convicted by it, sis, I should have charged you a consultation fee. But what happens is you give out free information. You let folks pick your brain. People take withdrawals with no deposits. And then next thing you know, they're at Podcast Summit posting content later on thanking David Shands for something you helped them with. Anyways, so Podcast Summit was amazing this year. One thing I really appreciate is that they looked at us creators from a holistic standpoint. So it wasn't just a heavy focus on learning how to create a podcast. There were things for business owners, those of you that maybe want to create film, that want to create skits. They covered everything for everybody. So I'm going to break down some of my favorites. It opened up with Willie Moore Jr. If you're from St. Louis, you know who that is. We ain't going to call him by his old name because he's a changed man. He's a man of God. He just does all these amazing things. But I love how Willie called out clout chasing immediately. And I know he won't see it that way because it really came with love. But he talked about how so many of us go to these conferences, these summits, and we're always looking to get information. The first thing we want to do at a summit is chase the speaker down. The minute they get off stage, we want a picture, we want a quote, we want advice, we want guidance. We want all these things, forgetting that they are humans too. And not only that, but you need to be networking across, because the people that are in the room that are just as hungry as you, that are just starting out, that's who you're going to call when you're having a bad day. That's who you're going to call when you want to bounce ideas off of. That's who you're going to call when you need a collaboration. That's who you're going to call when you just want to be human. And you ain't got to pay them. So it's very important to remember that while speakers are important, the big names, you want to rub elbows with the big dogs. Don't ever think that you're above building with those to your left and your right. I started the whole what does it mean to clean out your dirty bag segment because I really wanted to use it as a way to connect with my peers. I wanted them to not only think about the mission of the dirty bag, but it's a way for me to use my platform to shout you out. Here's my thing. If you came back from Podcast Summit and the only content you got on your page is a speaker that you chased down, you didn't do it right. You didn't do it right. Some of y'all didn't do it right. And then coming back home and executing absolutely nothing. Or coming back home and having no real relationships. You spent all that money. You around thousands of amazing minds. People that are one day going to potentially be at the level of those that you won't let breathe. But because you want to be seen as, y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying. But the one thing Willie said was, We're here to get information just like you. We're here to learn just like you. So when you see us sitting down, let us breathe. My bank account ain't where it needs to be. So I'm going to need this moment to learn just like you. And I love that that's the way it was kicked off, because I think we all forget we all have gifts. And the people that you look up to, they're inspired by you as well. And just ask yourself, when you are in these spaces, are you adding anything of value to the people around you? And if you can say yes, but if you want around picking everybody's brain, go somewhere. But just know, y'all can no longer pick my brain for free, especially if you can got information, you making money off of it, and I ain't so much as got a thank you. As y'all can tell, I apparently feel a type of way about some, but I'm letting it rock. So Podcast Summit was absolutely dope. Once again, this year was more about execution and what can you do better. Last year was, I did everything wrong starting out. I was in survival mode putting this platform together. I didn't really have the resources. I didn't have the relationships. But this year let me know that building community is so important. So shout out to all the cousins I met last year that came back. And it's going to be dope. We're going to keep building. Speaking of building, this is going to be a really strange way for me to shift gears. I've been thinking about relationships a lot lately and how I operate with my friendships and what I want my legacy to be as far as how I impact people. So I am what I call a first generation Facebooker, right? I was one of the folks that had to email Mark Zuckerberg to have my college added. That's me showing my age. And as of lately, when I log on, it feels like I'm at a funeral every damn day. Like, Facebook is turning into a dramatic ass funeral. Every 90 days, somebody dying. And I get it. We leave this earth. And when I joined Facebook 2005, y'all. That was a long time ago. So I get it. We at that point where check-ins look like, what disease you got this year, how much time you get. I'm sorry, y'all. My humor is like really dark. But the thing about life is ain't none of us making it out. We all gonna die. But it's the time that you have here. And I've said this before, my solo episodes are low-key me I'm low-key eulogizing myself sometimes. I want to leave as much back as possible so that when I leave this earth, there's a body of work for you to know who I was, enjoy my words of wisdom, my laughs, goofiness, foolery, those I gave space for. But I'm logging on Facebook, and I want to tell y'all, at least every week there's been a death, and it hits close to home. And I have a request, okay? I have a strong request. The day I leave this earth, if you see anybody start sharing all of my clips all of a sudden, just excess, just all the time, oh my God, she kept it real. I want you to log into my page and fucking clown them. You have my full permission to put them on blast, because what you're not going to do is play off my top while I'm resting. I will haunt the shit out of you. You will not play me if you do not support me while I am here breathing and my phone is dry. So I got to put that out there. I'm totally okay with y'all being shady once I leave if people that never said a word about me are suddenly celebrating me. I don't like it. Another thing that reminds me that we're on borrowed time and that I have to be really intentional. I'm in a group chat right now, y'all, that literally exists because one of us died. It wasn't because all of us collectively had this very close friendship and we lost our way and, this funeral reminded us. I think that sometimes when people pass away, we have a lot of guilt about what we didn't do while they were here. I think sometimes we feel really bad about maybe feeling like we could have shown up for folks better. So once they're not here anymore, we feel pressure to do all of these things with everybody else around us. And I'll be honest with y'all, I personally don't carry that kind of guilt. I feel like whatever our relationship is at this moment, it is what it is. And unless I was just a crappy person to you, I can just rest well. I can sleep at night enjoying whatever memories we had. But it gets so hard knowing that we in the second phase of life and just not the oldest social media platform, but the platform for old people, because y'all know ain't nobody under 35 trying to fool with Facebook. But to log on now tends to be a little bit depressing. But I needed to put out that PSA. clown these folks. Pretty please. So I'm thinking about how I deal with people and if I'm being the best person to everybody. And what I figured out is that I feel bad about people that are just now meeting me in this season of my life. And here's why. I know that I come off very selfish and self-centered. And some truth to it. Let me just go ahead and say it is. But I realize the reason I do it is because I spent so much of my life people pleasing and showing up for everybody else and extending myself in a way that I really did not have the capacity for, because I was doing what I wished folks would do for me or what somebody could have did for me when I was younger. A lot of how I was operating in my friendships was things that I wished I had. I was hoping that people would see that and give to me in return. And that ain't the way shit panned out. So when you hit a wall and you finally decide I'm full-fledged chasing my goals, I don't have the energy or the capacity to drive 6.5 hours anymore to show up. I don't have the capacity to sit on the phone for 3 hours listening to y'all problems anymore. People don't have the same relationship with you anymore. They don't fool with you the same. They kind of leave you alone because the way you operate, it doesn't benefit them. The way you exist in the world, they're not getting nothing out of it. So it's one of them deals. I'm definitely in a I guess a season of transition with how I balance going after what I want with the time that I have left, because folks around me expiring left and right. I don't know when my time is coming. I don't know. But I do know I don't want to leave this earth not having did everything I needed to do for myself, for the legacy that I want to leave, for the impact I want to have, because I'm out here trying to take care of everybody else. That part of me is dead. And what you notice is you bring in a whole new group. It's important for you to surround yourself with people that understand what it is you're trying to do. Like-minded people. People that creatives are important. We have weird lives. We have unconventional lives. And oftentimes people that follow clear-cut paths don't understand us. And because they don't understand us, sometimes they don't know how to show up for us. My regular 9-to-5 friends, we don't really know how to have conversations anymore because they don't understand that a lot of my time I don't have to give, because I'm a creator. I need time to think about things. I need time to experience life. I need time to come up with content to give y'all. So I ain't got it. So if you can relate to that, you are my people. But the message today is when you're going to get information, make sure you're giving as well as receiving. It's okay to chase high, but don't forget those that are low right along with you. Now, maybe low ain't the right word. Those that are grinding, those that are in the paint, don't forget about them, because they're probably going to get you a lot farther. And you ain't got to pay them. And also charge your worth. Do not be the person in this street giving out free information to every single person and you getting played. We all got bills. I got bills, you got bills, everybody got bills. Live, laugh, love. So today's message was very quick, y'all, very simple. I just had to check in and let y'all know Podcast Summit was everything. If you're creative, you really shouldn't be missing it next year. And that's it. So whatever we got going on right now, it's a lot of BS in these streets. Wear your mask, wash your hands, socially distance. When you get a free moment, please remember to clean out your dirty bag. Till next time.
Well, darling, there's only one God.